All right, so right now we're going to add a table view for the users and posts. And how we're going to do that is we're not going to do the complicated sorting and selecting table. We're just going to do a simple table for right now. And it will get, basically this is it. So what we need to do is create a table view and import these elements right now, the table body, table itself, then the table cell, head, and row. And so we're going to embed it here within the users component. So we're actually going to go up to common and create a new folder called table view. And the reason we're doing it this way is so that we can reuse it just by passing in different properties to it. So we're going to use it on the posts page as well as on the users page. So we're going to import React and component from React. We're going to import with styles from material core styles. So import with styles from material-ui/core/styles. We're going to import table from material-ui/core/table. Import table body from material-ui/core/table body, and then import table head from core/table head, and then I believe it's just row, cell, and paper we need. So table row from material-ui/core/table row. Import table cell from material-ui core/table cell, and I think just paper. Yes. Paper from material-ui/core/paper. There we go. So now what we're going to do is create the table itself. And we're going to wrap it in the paper class. And paper is just literally a white box. So if we look at this, we can see paper is wrapped around the typography, and what it does is it, well, you can see it adds some padding as well as gutters, like some margin. And so we're going to be wrapping the entire table in paper. So what we're going to do is say class table view extends component, and then we're going to create the render method, and in here we are going to return paper component, and then table component, and table head. And in here, we're going to create a table row and then map over properties that we're going to pass in. So let's go and capture these now. So it's going to be const rows and columns equals this dot props. So we're going to get that from props. We're going to map over both of them. So we're going to map the columns inside of a table row. So we're going to first check and make sure that we have columns. So we're going to say columns, question mark, and if there's none, then null. That just auto-completed. I didn't type that. So here, if there are columns, we're going to say columns.map and then we're going to get the call, and we're going to get the index of each through this map statement, and we are going to return table cell and then the label. So we're going to open up this right here, and we're going to say call, and we can pass in a flat array for this, I guess. So yeah, just call. And then we'll need to add the key, which React requires through map, like when you map certain properties out in a render method, or in any method really. If you're mapping and returning content to the page in a map statement, you need to add the key. So we're going to just set it to I, and it needs to be unique within this mapping statement. So there we go, that's the table head. So now we're going to create the table body, and we're going to say if, I think we named it rows, yes. So if there's rows, do something, else null. And if there are rows, we're going to map, and here's where it's going to get a little bit complicated. So the columns, we're going to have to specify both a label and a field. So we're not going to pass in a flat array as columns. We're going to pass in an array of objects, and the object will have two properties: a label, which is what we want to display, and then the field for what we're going to get from the row. I'm sure that makes sense. So if there's rows, we're going to map it out, and we're going to create table cell, and then in here we're going to check if yeah, so we're going to map the rows, and then inside the row we're going to map the columns. So columns.map, and then call, and call index. So we're going to have to return this map statement. I'm going to copy this here, and there we go. So what this is going to do is it's going to map through all the rows that we have, and then in each row we need to get the column from that row. So row, and then we're going to open up square brackets, and we're going to say call dot name. And I'll show you guys how we're going to pull this together here in a few minutes. Let's save this, and then export default with styles table view. Or rather, we haven't defined any styles yet, so just table view. We're going to save this, and then in users, we're going to import table view from another level up, and then in common and table view, and then we're going to embed table view here. And there's two properties it's going to need. One is columns, and it's going to be an array, and then another is rows, and it's also going to be an array. Now if I save this and refresh the users page, we see we get a table, but nothing's happening yet, and that's because we haven't actually specified anything. So in columns, we're going to need to create, so up here outside of the class, I'm going to create a const called columns, and this is going to be the array. Now in each one, we're going to need a label and a name. So the name is going to be the field, and the label is going to be what we want to call it. So the first one is going to be ID, and the name is going to be ID, because we don't have much when we're working with users. We just have ID email, and then I think we also have a name. So let's go ahead and capture that, and then label name, and name is going to be name. There we go. There's columns. So let's pass in columns here. So let's save this. Now we should see the table header populate. Now we actually need to work with the data. So what we're going to do for that is we're going to actually connect this to our Redux portion of the application. And we're going to do that at the users component right here. So we're going to need to import connect from React Redux, and we're going to have to create an actions file for the admin reducer and also a reducer file. So we're going to do that in the next video.